All right, we're live once again. I guess we will talk about reloading because I'm going to bring these topics up here in some of the videos that I'm doing and trying to advise people on why they should start reloading. And there's a lot of argument against it. I just did a calculation the other day here. Um, Look through my wonderful notes system that I do. But it comes out to where, not counting the brass, all right. Oh, it just about costs you a buck around to load up ammo. Oh, this okay? This guy here, save his notes. My filing system here is chaotic, but I was taking notes the other day on what it costs to reload in general, because you will find that the amount of powder you are using for any bullet, 150 grain, 178 grain bullet. Let's see what we got here. Morning. Gun budget's going to be gone for a while. Number 4 Mark 1T. Is that a sniper or something? Because what do they go for? So I don't even, I do know it's some of it's ridiculous. Like some of these FR7s, they go for seven, or FR8s, they go for $700, 700, 800, easy. Now you may see some people bidding on some like I did at an auction. You know, I bid and got it at a certain price, but by the time I got done paying the premiums, and then some of these people lie. They got a lower premium instead of 21%. They say 15, but then in the middle of this, I get hit with $60 chip handling fee. So a lot of these auction houses are thieves, and uh, you have to pay sales tax. So you're done right there. Okay. Well, that's good. But I remember when them things were available. They were, does it come in the box and everything? Um, they did show up. They were available, but they were really, they were in a case back then or close to it. And I was paying for a real nice Mauser, 125. Okay. So, my budget, I scrape together every so many months $300 and go to the Syracuse gun show and pick up 2 or 3 rifles, and spend my 300-400 bucks. But it's kind of like when they had some of the old Mosin snipers, they wanted 3.5 for them, and that was my whole damn budget for a couple months back then. Yeah, that was like about a week's take home pay. All right, we got everybody showing up here today, so it's a good one. Must be it's raining or something, or the weather sucks. Sun's out, it's nice here. All right, megabait 314. All right, I'm glad you made it. Up some large rifle primers. Ooh, $8 100. Well, that's let me think. It's about what? Yeah, it's $80 for 1,000. Okay, that's about the going rate. Where are you up in New York? Because I remember, I don't even know. I moved out of there 20 years ago, 21 years maybe. Now I don't. I could care less what goes on, but that's crazy. The Ruger Scout rifle. All right, so we got a lot of activity. Last week was kind of dead, but of course, then who knows? At least everybody's here. We're talking, but I was going to do some more work on reloading. So that's why I'm having a membership. I want to cover some different calibers and that, but I kind of come up with the thought of suggesting to people because the way mill surplus is, and I've been looking, uh, there's all kinds of strange things going on. I see someone's giving me a question right here. Uh, Guns and ammo, not really, because this tariff stuff, just like everything else. Okay, they were supposed to go to Fort Knox. They're supposed to be deporting all these illegals. They're supposed to be doing this, uh, all this other stuff. Okay, and it's not happening. Okay, it's being stopped or thwarted or whatever because the powers that be that created all of this, these people did not go away. Okay, and these are the people that really control things. They're not elected officials. They're the people who own the judges, who own the politicians, who dictate to them what to do. Unfortunately, that is the way most modern governments are run. Okay. So a lot of this stuff, I don't know about this tariff stuff. I you know, I haven't priced a foreign made car or everyone's talking the foreign made guns, the foreign made ammo, and then everyone talked about that SG ammo, I believe, put that thing up that everything's going to go up by so much and all this other stuff. And I ain't seen it, maybe. And of course, that's a pretty good excuse to use. I got something here, you know, I want to sell you this pen for $1. Okay, that's what I'm selling it for, and it's made in, I don't know, somewhere other than here. And it's like, wow, there's a 40% tariff going to go to that country. So now I want $1.40. Okay. Did the tariff go in? Is it really happening? I don't know. So that's just it. It's instability. It could be real. It can't be real. I've seen prices like that guy saying $80 for a brick of U.S. made primers. You can get the foreign ones for less, way less, where they should be. But are they going to work consistently in certain types of firearms? That's where you got to be picky on how you load that. I don't really know. I don't see it. I do know that collectible mill surplus that is not being imported, it goes up. I went to some crooked gun auction where they were bumping the prices up on this stuff, and it just ridiculous. And people were putting bids in. $750 for a Winchester 94 and 30-30. That was the average going rate. Granted that these guns were in really nice condition. They weren't beat up or left out in the weather, you know, and had the finish screwed up. They're all in pretty nice condition, but I was surprised that's what they go for. All right, let's see. 311 446. Is that for like uh, the Mauser 7184 466? Yeah. Yeah, I use that in the Mausers, the Berndl. I actually size it down and use it in the what was that 43 Spanish. Yeah, that's an outstanding bullet. I use a lot of them. Plattsburgh at Runners. It's been a while since I've been through Plattsburgh. It's going the other way. Usually I take 81 up through Cortland, Syracuse, and Utica. I haven't been on that side of the state in many, many years. Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, rifling is real deep on that, just like the 81s. And uh, I never got decent accuracy out of that gun. I was thinking of going with an oversized cast bullet, 6.5. You can't use this, what is it, 264s, 268s for the Carcano. The Carcanos won't fit in the dies. So you got to use a bullet that'll get up in the throat with the back end there engaging. I haven't dug mine out and fooled with it in I don't know how many years. That's something I'd start doing. It depends where you go and who is at the auction. Okay. I've been to auctions where you can pick the stuff up really reasonable because there's nobody there that is interested in it. See, the AR-15s, M1 Grands, carbines, 1911 pistols, those are what these people come. You very rarely find somebody. Carcanos are kind of popular and people have seen it, so they'll get bids um, and all this other stuff. But if you go there and there's somebody interested, like I went to an auction, there was a Makarov pistol. I figured, man, if I can pick this up, there was somebody there that specifically came for it and run that thing up to 350, 375. Okay, it depends. You can go to an auction and there will be some really good rifles, and they just call it a Mosin Nagant, but it's actually a K. It's a 31 or something from Finland, which is worth a lot more. And you'll see people thinking it's just $100 Mosin. It's worth 350, and they'll only bid up to 100 and a half, trying to double up their money. You know, because they're not a collector, they're not really into it, or they don't have a way of moving it. Okay, and that's where you'll make out. And then sometime I went to one auction and everything was so high, it wasn't worth for me to bid on anything, and I kind of got pissed. I got rooked. Tried to put a $300 bid, and he ratcheted up another $100, and nobody else was willing to throw the money out. So I kind of high ended on that one rifle. Um, so yeah, it's screwed up. Prices just got back from 2K large. Yeah, $80. No background check. Also, IMR powders, 55 a pound. I see. I don't know. I haven't bought anything in New Jersey, New York, or any of them not normal states, socialist holdouts. You know, 30 cal. Okay, let me see. I haven't casted a 30 caliber bullet for a long time. Uh, the only ones I casted some for the Swiss rifles, the early ones with the big long magazine. I forget. I casted some weird bullet to fit in there. That's the last 30 caliber bullets I casted, and they work pretty good. You know, Lover and multi-groove. Okay, okay. I got some in a 6.5 somebody bought. I found them the other day. I got 100 of them. I never used them, but the Lover and style, yeah, yeah, the multi-groove. It's an unusual bullet. I've never used any of the Lovren style. I know that they were very popular at one point in time, but truthfully, I've never casted any and I've never used any. It might be something for me to do. I dug them out. I had so much crap laying around, I have no idea where to start with first. $100 Mosin would be fantastic around here. Like I said, it depends who's at the auction. That Argentine carbine, nobody would bid more than $100 on it. And I just said, I'm going to cut through the crap and say, all right, here, 200 bucks. Let's start there. And nobody bid against me. So you never know. Then you can go there and some gun falling apart with no bore in it. You get into a bidding war, and it's like somebody went to an auction and for High Point 380, they bid it up to like $300, and it's a used gun. It's like 100 and some odd dollar gun, brand new, and you see crazy things at auctions. You never know. That's the fun of going to them. Morning. I mean, that's not bad because long rifles are not coming in, and they do go. It depends on the condition, and most of them uh, are used, and all the long rifles I found, they must have bought a ton of them in back in the 50s or 60s, are dated 17, 18, 19, 17, 18. And you find a lot of them like that floating around loose. You know, wood auction. About the going rate, but what are you getting? That's another thing. What are you getting charged for premiums? Okay, premiums go anywhere 20 to 24%. You know, and that's even with cash. All right, good morning. All right, see, yeah, you can get, well, I say you can get a better deal. You can find them on sale online. Okay. But again, we're talking, that's the thing about reloading. $80 versus 100, but you're still getting charged sales tax. So, you want to go to the lowest price you can, and you're going to get charged sales tax no matter where the hell you go. The thing is the shipping, okay? Uh, the hazmat, it's tough. So yeah, prices are not coming down in terms of primers. I found one deal, a couple of them. I forget what it was here. The Argentine small pistol and then them large pistols I bought on some weird flash sale. I got them dirt cheap. They're one of the uh, Yugoslavian ones. They work okay in hammered fire guns. The only thing these foreign primers end up acting up is with any type of striker fired pistols. Some of them don't like it. Some of them do, and That's the ins and outs of it. HP lover. Yeah, it's cosine. Yeah, I seen that where they brought a whole bunch of really interesting mill surplus in on commission. And I mean, the prices were ungodly. There were some pieces I was interested in, but every time I asked to look at one, I seen the price tag on it. And I had a dealer that warned me. He had something in on commission. I was looking and he goes, "Look, I'm going to tell you right now, this guy, you're not dealing with him, okay?" And he goes, "The price, he set the price because I guess most of it is like this shop. It was 10% of the sale price. So they come in with something that is worth 600, 700, and they want $1,200 for it, okay?" And yeah, it'll sit there because I seen a French pistol with a holster. What is it? The 18 whatever in 32 French revolver with a holster. It was a nice gun, but this is going back 10 or 15 years. The guy wanted like 800 and some dollars for it. It's a 300 and some odd dollar gun. Holster maybe at another $50. It's probably a repro, but it just sat there forever. Actually, the store owner passed away. They sold the store, and he made an arrangement with the new owner. And as far as I know, that gun's been sitting there now. I don't know. See, I don't know how they do that. Okay, because here, if you're a registered auctioneer, you must uh, you must pay sales tax no matter what. Okay, if you're on a computer. Now, if you're going to something where they do it off the books with just cash, um, that's a different story. I don't know what that is. Okay, but when I go here, anywhere I go here or anything online, you're not going to find that. Okay, so yeah, I've never heard of that. They don't charge tax or premiums. Yeah, I mean, $60 a pound is what you're going to pay, even when you're buying 8 pound. Buying an 8 pounder, the hazmat and everything, it comes out to $60 a friggin' pound. Okay, it's half a grand to get an 8 pound jug, and that 5744 is six. The last time it was in stock. Okay, so the powders are more expensive. Add another 100. You're looking at $600. Okay, reloading ain't cheap. You're not going to get away. I just did because I was going to make another video talk about um, the the cost. And honestly, for any large rifle, be it 8 millimeter, 30-06, or any of them, 7.7 Jap, with the bullet or the ones I was just pricing out exactly, I was doing with uh, 7.62 by 53 Argentine. They all use about the same amount of powder. So you take $60 divided by 7,000, you get the cost per grain, charge it by the 440, 46 something grains of powder, and you get your price of the powder. Um, Primer, you figure primer is 10 cents, and the bullets cheapest military full metal jacket bullets I can get are listed at 30 cents a piece on Graf and Sons, but you got to pay shipping and you got to pay sales tax. So that 30 cents a piece for a bullet for be 303 British, whatever, just plain Jane bullet. You may be able to scrounge around and find them cheaper or something, but say it's 34 cents. So when you add that all up without the brass case, you're looking at $1 to launch a mil surplus caliber bullet. Okay. Unless you go with casting or unless you go with something else, it's tough, and it's not getting. Everyone goes with the tariffs, and it's just another excuse for them not to lower their prices. Okay, and if you believe the narrative, okay, and if they don't lower their prices, like, oh, don't buy it, well, that ain't working. Yeah, I know. Okay, I've never heard. If I go to an auction, it depends on the auction. One auction I went to, there is no buyers. Was there a buyer's premium? It depends on the auction. One I went to had no buyer's premium. They have no buyer premium, but you do pay sales tax. Okay, whether it's cash or whatever, you still have to pay the sales tax. Some of them do have a buyer's premium. Okay, it depends on how the auction is set up. Okay, um, and some of them will charge you if you use a card other than cash. They charge you 4% for the amount. Okay, which I don't like wandering around with $3,000 or $4,000 in cash in my pocket. Okay, and you never know what the hell's going on at the auction. Some of them I went to, and then the damn stuff there is junk, or I don't like the way the auctioneers, like I got burned this last one. The guy automatically raised my bid $100 fucking around doing something. So I don't do business with them anymore, period. And there was another one that you could not examine the guns. They had the guns locked up and you're waiting there all day because they were auctioning everything. Okay, antiques, toys, signs, this and that. And then all of a sudden, at a certain time, they pull the guns out, and you've never been able to closely look at them or examine the bore or anything. Okay, so I went to this auction and turned into a three-ring circus, and I gave them. Then if something was there, and I was bidding on it, and it's like nobody had no interest in this old European pistol. So I said, all right, I'll grab it for $200. And then next thing I know, this guy's sitting there quietly in the corner, just starts raising the bids up. So I'm like, that's it. So yeah, auctions can be tricky. Okay, no matter where you go, you're gonna have to pay, at least the auctions I go to, you're gonna have to pay sales tax, no matter what. Even if you're paying any cash and even if there is no premium. Again, like I said, it depends on how the auction is set up. Okay. When I went to, there was no premium. The only thing they charge you is 4% if you use a card. All right. But you did pay sales tax. Some auctions charge you a premium. Some auctions are charging the person selling the stuff the premium. They're charging them a percentage. Okay. Usually, and that's the auction I went to, they were jacking the bids up. They were kind of doing it in an evil way. The online auctions charge you a premium, most of them. Okay, and that's just because I ain't traveling the globe to look for stuff, and you never know. But there's a local auction here. I don't know if you get, yeah, and you get charged a premium, whether you're local or not, because it's one of them timed auctions where they close them every 2 minutes. So I don't think it's open to people to be in the house in person. Maybe something like that. If somebody's on the floor, I have to go ask them because I've never done business with them and I've never participated locally in that type of an auction. Okay, the timed auctions or whatever the hell they call them. Mannlicher, 1905. Yes, it is. Going for two. Well, did the auction end? Just because somebody doesn't put an advance bid on it doesn't mean there's going to be somebody in that room, if it's a live auction, standing there going to bid it up. And another thing, it's like people said, if you're looking at, you got, with online auctions, you got several different places, proxy bid, live auction, this and that, all these different places are bidding. Say I go with proxy bid, okay, or live auction. I open my account, there's a listing at auction, and there's a Mannlicher 1905. So I go, okay, 200, I'll put 2.5. All right. And it'll sit there like that until the day of the auction, be it the timed or when it closes. And then when that lot comes up, you'll see it go from 2 to 6, 7, 8 or something in an instant because all these different bids are coming in, plus the sealed bids are opened and listed at the auction house. So you'll see these, if you watch them live, you'll see them something at extremely reasonable price take off to 7, 8 or more. Okay. That's something you got to understand. It all depends on what you're doing. Local auctions, if they're not connected like that, it's just who's in the damn crowd. Okay. Yeah. It's like getting the Roth Steyr pistol. I remember when I was a teenager, I could have got one for $120. Okay. Now they're all over $1,000 if you want one. Yep. Yeah, I know, but it depends on the auction house. Like I said, the one when they had the guns, you couldn't look at them. They had them locked up in the back. You were not allowed to. That's why these auction companies, if they don't give me an hour to come and look at the weapons or something like that or the items, I don't deal. Online, you got to take a risk and you have to get your experience. Some auction company, they never told you anything about the bore or nothing. And actually, the guns are pretty crappy. Okay, and you're overpaying it anyway. Then some of them are pretty good about giving you a description of the bore. I think even the one that was doing that had a lot of complaints, and they started giving you the condition of the bore in the description of the auction. Like this one that I'm getting into. Let me look here. Oh, and it's local. I guess I can go and look at the thing. Okay. And go to their website. And look at the auction. Okay, lots start closing after they start this thing, and it's 2 minutes. 6 lots close a minute. Okay, so this is how they're doing this. 18% buyer's premium with credit card or 15% with cash or check. All right. Preview inspections, pickup. So I don't know if they're having anyone on the floor when they do this. You can go and look at the items, But I don't know if they're closing in minutes like that. I don't know, because I was involved in one like this, and they had people bidding on the floor, or outside bidders, or some crap. So I don't know how they're run, but I know these timed auctions, like you said, 6 lots are going to close in a minute. Okay, so let me see, how many lots do we have? Boom. There are online now. Boop, 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 boop. 601 items. So 601 divided by. So 100 minutes. So within an hour and 20 minutes, if it runs, they should close all these lots out within 2 hours. So 7, 8, 9:30, they should be done. Yeah, time. Okay, yeah. So that's why I'm going to go there the day before and look at some of this stuff and see. And if they're not really, it's like I'm using the software that they have. They're not on proxy bid or something like that. I could make out with this, but the only crappy thing about it is a high commission. But if you get the stuff low enough, it works. And any firearm that has to be transferred, they're telling me it's $25 per gun. Okay. And all the rifles I'm interested in are going to have to be transferred. So no antiques, no nothing. So I don't know. I'll check this one out. So yeah, so that's another one. I did a timed auction, and then what they charged me for the shipping and handling and bullshit and everything else. And I really didn't pay top dollar, or the bid was kind of where it should be, kind of on the high end, but to add another 200 and some odd dollars to it is rough. So we'll see. There is some interesting stuff there. Okay, if I can get it at the right price, drive over to pick it up, you know, that's basically how it works. You have to gauge, judge, and come down. Really, there's only like one rifle if it goes low enough that I'm interested in, but there are several others. But that depends on how it all kind of goes. How it all kind of goes, and you don't know until the last minute. You could sit here and go, "Oh, okay, I'll bid $25 on that," and it don't go up until, yeah. See this here. One never knows. One never knows. But yeah, getting back to the reloading, because surplus ammo is drying up, and like say you look for 8mm Mauser. I went out and looked, and I hit Ammo Seek, and there's a bunch of this Greek-made ammo from 1939. Okay, it looks fairly clean in the boxes, wasn't stored underwater for 20 years or nothing like that. But if you want it, granted, it's 50, 60 cents a round, but you got to buy a whole case. So it ends up being 5 C notes. And if you couldn't get a sampling of it, a couple boxes to see how it is, I'd stay away from it. That's getting just too old. Even the stuff I've had and kept sealed in ammo cans, uh, 8 millimeter surplus. Some of it was made in the 80s. Some of it might have been made in the 60s, 70s for the Hakim rifles. I mean, the stuff was really accurate. It was made in Egypt or Syria or something. It was nice stuff. But now, even though I've stored it well in climate controlled temperatures, I never left it out anywhere with a huge temperature swing. Half of the stuff where it used to be reliable and every round went off, now, of course, I don't know how much of it. That's another thing. I had to go through and find all this stuff and see, dispose of it, little bits and pieces or little caches of it I find somewhere. But yeah, reloading. I was gonna make a video on that, discuss that, because if you're new to reloading or do not reload, okay, you got to lay out about $300 for the stuff, the equipment to do it right. And then if it's costing you $1 a round without the brass, okay, that's why, if you do shoot like 7 millimeter, or, if you do get reloadable ammo for the Swiss rifles, okay, or any of them, 30-06, whatever, you should just, or even 308, 7.62 NATO, save the brass. If you don't reload, you might be able to trade it to somebody or sell it to somebody that will reload. It's it's tough to say, and it's not. I can go and buy uh, a box of 7.62 NATO cheaper than I can reload it. That's the sad part of it all. When they have a sale on it, ton of ammo that is new production. That's the going rate. I mean, you can't reload the stuff. It's $1 a round to reload it. So when you're saying uh, the stuff will never move, eventually when you run out of ammo, you're going to be left with no choice. I mean, you say, "Oh, the hell with it, I'll go reload it," and find out you're paying $1 a round to reload it. That's what I mean. I'm just realizing this. See, for my own use, I could care less. Okay, if I got to spend 5 C on a thing of powder and I can go shoot my Garand and several other guns and run a few hundred rounds through them, that's money I'm spending on myself. I don't care, because I like shooting my reloads better than off the shelf ammo. Okay. Yeah, it's really expensive. I don't count, because at my age, after I'm gone, what good is money? All right. So, being frugal at this point in the frigging game, for me personally, uh, why? You know, that's why I like smoking $7 cigars and stuff like that. It's just, you know, what's the point? You know, but yeah, $1 a round is about the going rate. Okay. Now, is he charging you sales tax on top? Well, that's about what it costs online, and they're going to charge you the sales tax, even with free shipping. If a lot of these places you buy over $200 or something, or they got cases of ammo they can't get rid of, they'll give you free shipping. Um, you know, Yeah, they do. The primers go dead. Okay, that's what happened with this ammo. I mean, the 8 millimeter I had, it came in with the Hakeem's back in the '80s. Um, it went off, and some of that Syrian ammo, you'd get a batch that there were dead primers in it already. Okay, and some of it, every round I got fired because when I go buy a few boxes from the guy who's one case, and then you show up 6 months later, he's got another case or he's opening a new one and selling the ammo, and there is no way to tell. Yeah, I know. That's where we got to buy the powder in the 55-gallon drums to do our reloading. Uh, have our own bunker, our bunker to restore our store our reloading supplies in. Not everyone's you know at that level, shall I say. 900 round wooden case. That ain't bad, but I think that stuff's kind of mildly corrosive, and you watch it. Uh, yeah, I know. You're gonna do it, other than them dime store cigars smoking like paper, but a little enjoyment in life. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's another thing. Some of this ammo, the stuff was crappy, and even back in the old days, I got a hold of some. I think it was 7 millimeter Mauser. I don't know where the hell it come from, but the damn brass was screwed up. The cases would split, and they'd split at the base. Okay, right through the head. It was crappy brass, and you're out there firing it. That's why that Spanish guns had that little port in the side to let the gas escape, or that stuff goes right back into your friggin' eyeball and will blind you. And I've had, and I'm not talking recently. I'm talking I've run across bad ammo. Okay, and it could be anything. Even had some bad 9 millimeters screwed up a P38 I had. You know, yeah, some of that stuff you got to watch out. But he said, in his original statement here, he says that ton of ammo that is new production and some older stuff. You know, so if he has some new production ammo, dollar round ain't nothing to complain about. Greek ammo dated 1939 or something, I would not pay a dollar a round for. Okay. Um, the description isn't quite clear. And like you said, the Greek, there's some, what is it, Pakistan, and some of that Turkish 8 millimeter. That stuff was vile. And one guy down there, I don't think he posts much anymore on YouTube. He used to do black powder guns and other stuff, and was using original rubber to make the stoppers for the Chaspo rifles. But he goes, "Oh, I finally got some of the ammo that goes in an 88 Gewehr. This is 150 grain Turkish ammo or something." I mean, that stuff was brutal, real hot and everything. And he's firing it in the 88. Well, he proved that the 88 can handle regular 8 millimeter, not kill you. But, what are you going to do? So tariffs, I really don't know if tariffs uh, are gonna affect us, and I don't know how it's working because you hear he's supposed to put all these tariffs on everybody, but yet everybody's negotiating uh, with him, even China. China's the one that got pissed off the most, and their whole country's thrown into a tailspin. Um, and we got them over a barrel. I don't care what anyone says. All right. Um, so we'll see. But I really don't see it because I have not seen an increase in prices. Like when I just went the other day to check the prices out, and that they've gone up. They've normally gone up every year. All your brass, all your bullets increase. And like everyone goes, well, I just got this letter and increased it, and that. Well, every year the companies send to the major retailers a notice telling them, there will be an increase in the retail prices or the prices every year. And it could be anywhere from 10 to 15 to 18%, depending on what it is. That's normal. Okay. And see, the one thing about YouTube, the internet, and everything is you get influencers and you get people that just want to get views on their opinion and they spark panic. Okay, any video I make about reloading component shortages, if I put fear, panic, ammo, guns, I'm going to get a ton of views. Okay, whether I just sit and just mumble for 10 minutes, okay, it doesn't matter. Because that is what people are fearful of. And this is where you're working on fear. Nobody quite understands because everything you hear about everything that's been going on makes no sense. Okay, the bottom line is everything costs you more. Well, what happens with them if you get a buildup around the outside of the 22s? I don't know. Something happens to them. You can feel it, like on the outside of the bullet. I don't know what it is. Either the lube runs down from heat or something. They won't chamber, but they go off. Okay, and some of them, some 22s, brand new from the factory, don't go off. Okay, because the primer isn't making it all the way around the rim. Yeah, that you know what I'm talking about. Now that's weird because I've been using that Ingman or whatever, however the hell you pronounce it, 7.62, and it's pretty good. Well, I got again the chronograph. I was looking at that foolish thing today, and I went and got turned it on, synced my phone to it, and got it to where I can use the phone to control it or change the strings or something. But the information has to go to this app. Whatever I collect there, I can download from the device onto my phone and I guess transfer that and store it or record it or whatever. Um, but that is very, see, and that's why you kind of need a chronograph too of some sort. That was weird. 148 grain. Hmm. Now, was that packaged commercially or was that, because the stuff I get, let's look. Yeah, let me see. Just out of curiosity. Let me see if I can find that. Ammo by caliber. Let me see if I can find it. Amen. 7.62. And let's get a brand. Well, it's a Seiko. And nothing found. Okay, I can't find that on AmmoSeek. But I can find NATO Ingman, which I'm using now. That's about realistically 70 cents a round, wild horse ammo, free shipping, 70 cents a round. You got to buy 600 of them. And if they don't clip you on the tax, box of 20, now it's telling me it's 75 cents a round. It's a little bit of false advertising. Wild horse ammo. Yeah, so that's what it looks like, but they did not show that in 7.62. Okay, that's not listed anywhere on AmmoSeek. See, 20 years ago. See, I do know that Fiyoshi makes it, and you can get hunting ammo from Fiyoshi. Probably PPU also. PPU, it's easier just to buy the soft point bullets. Actually, I got a bunch of them blemished. I'm going to use them in something because I dug them out. I was loading them in the 303 British because a lot of people have these rifles. You might go hunting with them. And then I did liquidate it when I used to go to the gun shows and the flea markets. But yeah, it's tough now. But that's what I'm going to be doing basically until my range opens and I can test all my test rounds that I did, the 7.63 by 53 Argentine. Going to do some stuff with the 308 or the 7.62 NATO. May even do a reduced load for all those nervous people that do not like the fact that the 7mm were rebarreled to 7.62 NATO and start that in-depth discussion of how the guns will eventually stretch, screw up, and be destroyed, which, my personal opinion, I do not believe any country would make a weapon that would, even if it's a secondary thing, uh, that would eventually fail over time. Yeah, I tell people, PPU ammo, PPU makes all of the military calibers if you can find it. The thing is, you're probably not going to find it in a store or at a gun show. You're going to have to go and order it online from one of the wholesalers. Now, if you live in a state where that isn't allowed or something, I can see that's a problem, but that is the best way to do it. Because let's take a look at what that comes up if we go to leave it blank, any, and then we go with hmm, 0.62 by 54, and I'll get an idea of what the Red Army Standard 60 steel cased ammo. If you spend 3 beans for 500 rounds, 60 cents a round, steel cased ammo. That's probably the cheapest. Brass, what is that? S&B 67, but the seller has a -2. Yeah, S&B selling it. Once you want to get out of the steel, getting 70 cents a round, you're getting up there. AI, do yeah, mostly S&B is the cheapest. You get to PPU, ain't seeing it. But yeah, PPU ammo is good. S&B, their brass is not that good. Their brass doesn't hold up. I've heard a lot of people don't like it. So PPU brass is really good. In the beginning, it was a little bit, it varied a little, but 303 British or 7.62 used to be reasonably priced. Okay, it wasn't that expensive. I don't know what the hell I paid. And again, you're almost paying $1 a round. Let me check real quick on that. That's the thing about buying the brass. Uh, I just go to Graff and Sons to check out the brass, and boom. Let's look at rifle brass, and this is what I was going to make a video about. We'll go to some of the 7.7 Japanese. That's one. All right, $1.02. Ooh, it was less than that. I remember it when it was like 75 cents a piece. So yeah, that has gone up. Okay, so I'm gonna hang on to my 7.7. 6.5 French. I bought 100 of it, and that was 88 cents a piece. Because all the stuff I had, I sold. 7.5. Ooh, by 55 Swiss, 90 cents a piece. So that's going to be over $1 once you pay the shipping and sales tax and all that other fun stuff. Now, 8mm Lebel, that's $1.28. That's Privy. It's all Privy Partisan. They're the only ones that make that brass. Okay, so that's something I've stocked up on it. If you shoot them and you're going to probably have to reload them. That's the way to go. Now the other one is the 8x56. Oh, quality cartridge is $3.10 a piece. You know, you got somebody that'll make them. But Hungarian and $1.29, I've stocked up on that. I had a thing, I think I bought 500 pieces of brass because I make the 8x50 out of it. I can make the 6.5 JJ2 out of it, and plus just loading that for all my Austrian rifles. I have it. You know, some of this, and another one, guys, is the 7.35 Carcano. Hornet A stopped making those bullets for it. You can't get them. They were the only ones that made it. Okay, let's look. I believe you're going to find rifle bullets. 30 caliber. I think that was over here. 7. 30, 30, 30, 30. 3. It's not even listed here. 300. It used to be listed here. You know, and the bullets, 29 cents a piece for the full metal jacket. 330, and what I do is I size the 330 bullets to I think 327, and I shoot them in an 8mm Lebel. So, you know. My LGS has 15 rounds, Hugo M30, 54R brass case. Are these boxer primed or something, or what? So to answer the one question I got up there before there, it doesn't look like ammo prices are coming down or reloading at all. And actually trying to sell off any of my surplus reloading components and that, people just aren't reloading. So, you know, your cast bullets, common ones, okay, or whatever, it's not moving. You know, like the one guy said, well, he's got all this ammo and surplus, it's not moving. Well, that's true. Maybe it won't. Maybe people just shoot something else they can afford. You know, that 22 range at my gun club always has somebody down there. Okay. I think that's a retirement thing. There's some guys that get into it, and the guys that get older get to the point where they're benching a 22 rifle. That's where they shoot, and a lot of times that's the last time I see them above ground. A lot of them fellas in their 80s and that are down there at the 22 range, shooting. So I don't know. I hope I don't end up there. So I'm going to take my shortened Nagant and rattle my rib cage and shoulder blades. And that's another thing everyone was telling me, to get the number 5 flash hider, and those things are soldered on, even though they got the tapered pins and all this other shit. I'd have to take that to the large lathe where I used to work, try to chuck up on the receiver with a 4-jaw chuck, maybe I don't know if I got a spot that I can get that barrel or I can turn it, slide that on and have to solder it or whatever to get it on there. The thing's just for what it is, doing anything, you know, too much money. Because even just putting the mount and the scope on there, that'd be $200 and $100 for a break, and $180 for stock. Yeah, for what it is. Just might sell it as is to get rid of it. But shame, they had a good bore on it. If they left that damn thing alone, it would have been good. Oh well. We had a lot of, let's see, yeah, $15 for a box of 10. I think I bought a case of that stuff. And I shot some of the military stuff. And that's when I found out the sights were off on my damn 11. And all that other stuff. And I should go out and fire that again. I don't like firing it in the older guns. I like loading down the ammo for them and the other ones. Let's see. But yeah. That's the truth. Okay, I can probably sell the parts out of that more than anything. Or just get rid of it. I'd hate to break it. Well, the bolts mismatch and even force match. I think it was a bunch of parts somebody threw together to begin with. Might try to get rid of it. Yeah, and that's another thing, getting somebody that wants to pay you. That's never easy. Yeah. That may be where it's going to end up going. But I think I'm going to go out and now that I crown the barrel, I'm going to fire some rounds through it just for the hell of it, just to see. Maybe make that a thing of opportunity. All right, gentlemen. It's been over an hour getting there. I got some things to do, and that's a nice day outside. So thank you all for coming. We had a lot of activity. At least the conversation stayed right through the whole thing. Wasn't just boring like it was last week. So thank you all for showing up, and I will see you fellas next week at the same time. Try to keep it going for now. Maybe with the weather getting better, I may have to. I might curtail this or change the times or something. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to wait and see. But thanks and see you next week.